Welcome to Spiritually Raw. We expose and explore controversial truths, myths, and theories surrounding the spirit world. Guests include QAnon experts, investigators, debunkers, and skeptics of the supernatural, unexplained, and flat-out unimaginable. Content discussed on this show is not necessarily the opinion of the cast of Spiritually Raw, and topics quite often are for mature audiences only. This show is not intended to replace any medical, financial, or legal advice and is for entertainment purposes only. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride. Hello, everybody. How are you? And hope you're having a great day today. We hope you woke to the most miracle morning and are also having the most fortunate day today. And as always, we would like to thank you for your energy exchange with us as we spend this time together with David CROENI again.
Remember Hi, David.
Hey, David. How you doing, brother?
Guys.
Good.
Thank you for joining us. We've had so many requests for you to come back. So thank you.
Yeah, we appreciate that. We had last time David was on here, was really trying to get some stuff out here, and we just had to muddle through some technical stuff. But he's really just gone out to really just be able to come back on here without a lot of that. So that we're going to be able to revisit what some things that were missed and learn some new things that have been uncovered along the way. So thank you for that, everybody. And so I do want to remind you, make sure that you do turn on the subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell so you are aware when we get great guests on here. Okay, so that's pretty cool there. So David, man,
and you always forget the Telegram channel.
That's your part.
Thank you, everybody, for joining the Telegram channel. We sure do appreciate it. And for those of you that have not already, please do check it out, because that's where we post all the shows, all the videos, when we're going live. And it's really, we have a like Spiritually Raw channel where I post the shows.
Twitter kind of thing, right?
Yeah. And then the Spiritually Raw group chat, and everybody, just keep it clean, keep it nice, and it's really a great group, and we sure do appreciate it. Thank you.
So a little bit about David CROENI before, for those of you who are just watching him for the first time. He's from a Swiss banking family for the Vatican. David's mom is of Danish royal blood. He was part of it and left to save humanity and speak his truth. David has been privy to some of the most secret information on the planet, which he's here to share with us today. And people who speculate who is at the top of the power structure, he knows, and he's always known. So join me in welcoming David CROENI to the show. How are you, David?
I'm doing great. Yeah, thank you very much for inviting me back. And I've been watching your shows and loving everything I'm hearing. So thanks for bringing the positive energy and the good information out to the people.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you, brother. So you want to clear up some stuff from the beginning?
Yeah, I have a couple questions. Now, when David was on last time, there was tremendous amount of interference. And people think you're a clone.
Well, I'm not, and I'm verifiable. But yeah, basically,
I thought you were glitching.
I will say that the truth that I speak is, they basically, a lot of people don't want it out there. So I constantly have technical issues. You guys have explained you guys have technical issues, but mine seem to be rather extreme. Let's just say that. So I'm constantly bobbing and weaving to navigate, and I become pretty good at it.
Well, it's definitely a huge improvement from the last time, and David really has gone out of his way to ensure of that, and we appreciate it so much. All right, so you're not a clone.
I'm not a clone. I'm real, but I do know a lot about clones. So if you want to ask me about clones, I'd be happy to tell you.
Absolutely. We're going to get to that. I have a few other things that people wanted to know. The next thing was
computer generated image.
Oh yeah, I'm going to get to that one.
Are you there?
No, he's not. Are you? Hold on, because we have that'll come next. I have one before that. You had mentioned on the last show that you didn't remember a lot of your childhood, and at the time I thought, geez, that sounds a lot like MK Ultra. And I wanted to ask you, and I forgot because we got sidetracked. Do you think, David, that you have been a child or a product of MK Ultra?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Yes. I actually have visions of that and memories of that. It's sort of like sitting in a room where, for me, it was a lot of Christian upbringing. I sat in these rooms where I felt like I was the only one awake. Everyone else was under a spell. And I can remember that when I was very young. And the research I've done about those Christian organizations shows me that that's what they're using. And I've even attended in the last few years a couple of those events and saw it right in front of me as a refresher to the fact. And that's a lot of what's been going on is there's a lot of MK running in a lot of the religions. And that's what I've come to find as I've spoken to many people who've, been in and out of those religious connections.
Was it a religious cult, or was it just like a regular church that your family was attending?
Yeah, it's basically, it's out there. You'll still find those churches out there today. It's more of a larger, I'd really just like not to mention it, but the name of them. But yeah, it's a pretty mainstream, similar to, let's say, Catholicism on a lot of levels, but just a different take, different translation of the Bible.
Oh.
When did the memories get triggered as far as you're being MK Ultra? Like, how old were you then?
Well, just a couple of days ago marked in 11 years, and I had an event where I had a brain injury. I think I'd mentioned that before, but I had a brain injury, and it's been 11 years ago. But that was sort of what really started to awaken me. It was like I was in a sleep state prior to that. I was you could say, like a lot of people that maybe come up that are trying to awaken to what a lot of what's shown on the show. I was completely under the spell. I just remember I would watch TV and believe everything I saw. I would believe that, the Democratic and Republican structure was legitimate and, fight for either side instead of realizing it's all one and the same. And it's all part of the same control structure. So, I woke up slowly and I started to see clues, and then I'm sort of an investigator, my mind. So, and I'm I pay a great attention to detail. So with those skill sets, I was able to like microscope into things and find answers and find things that most people weren't able to see, which is a lot of why people can't connect to me, because I have a very finite visual. I can see things that most people don't see. But those tend to be, from what I found, the most secretive things that people need to know. So it's sort of like I'm speaking a different language, and I need to teach you the language a little bit before you can understand what I'm saying.
The things that you say that you see that most people can see, are you talking more from a clairvoyant perspective or more from a, kind of trying to paint a picture of that part for me?
Yeah, it's been from a 3D perspective up until, let's say, in the last couple of years. My spiritual abilities have really accelerated to the point where literally right now with my voice frequency, I've been able to clear entities. So that's something that's rather new to me, but I've cleared 2 entities over the phone off of people in the last few days. There has been a lot of darkness and a lot of entity, what would I say? They're stirring in the ethers lately. So I'm able to actually hear if an entity is attached to somebody, and I actually get a little bit angry, and the tone of my voice and my anger actually drives those forces out of a person. So again, it's all new to me, but these are the kinds of things that I'm experiencing, which is really awesome, because now with these spiritual abilities, I'm able to even see, I don't know, bring more truth, I guess is what I would say. I'm able to bring it more clearly to people.
Cool. That's awesome, David. Congratulations for that. Kim Goguen. There's a lot of controversy around Kim.
Sure, absolutely.
And I want to just get clarity, number one, for people that are just, because we got so many emails. If you can help us understand, number one, your connection to Kim. And then I had a couple questions that I also needed clarity on. Sure.
Okay, connection to Kim. Let's see. Just over 2 years ago, I was introduced to Kimberly Goguen basically via the internet by Thomas Williams, who was a person she was working with at the time. They've since parted ways, but that was my introduction. And everything resonated with me because I think I told you last time, I had literally prayed to Source to assist me in finding who and what was truly controlling the financial system on this planet. And that was the connection. That 2 years ago, I found that. And that's when I started to research. It was difficult to believe that this was that there's an American woman truly in control of all of the world's financial wealth, that is in control of all of the assets that have been stolen from humanity. But I can walk you guys through how that is, how that works. Yeah. How actually the average person who's listening to the show can connect to that. Because certainly there are a lot of negative things about Kimberly out there on the internet. And for basic reason is because she's here to assist humanity and stop the old guard from continuing their New World Order directive. So.
Well, before we go down that, and I want to hear everything you have to say about that. When you were on the show last time, I thought, here's where I'm, and maybe you can help give clarity. Her mentor, so to speak, is Marduk, right?
I should explain. So basically, as I had explained previously, Marduk knew that he would have to give up his seat as the guardian of the assets in 2012. He had technology that allowed him to see the future, and he was able to see Kimberly and knew that she would be his predecessor. So with that information, he contacted her and was trying to get her to, let's say, continue his mob plan. But she became wise to that and learned that he really was a very evil person or individual who was not here for the benefit of humanity. So since she's fully human, she took on that role of being the guardian for humanity and assisting humanity in changing everything that we know, basically, because this money system is really what's been the control for the whole planet for quite some time.
To revisit the money system there, if I can. So what does she intend as the leader of this financial system for those? Because again, we had some technical stuff last time, so I want to appreciate you coming back. But what does she intend to do now with this money? What that she controls?
Okay.
What is she going to do different that you see that will make an impact, or you think that we'll even notice?
Okay, well, let me sort of put things in place. So basically, she was handed this it's called a quantum mapping system, and this is what Marduk had control over. This is a system that most people can't really comprehend because it's a technology that's about 200 years more advanced than anyone has basically seen. So the problem is when Kimberly got control of the system, there was no operator's manual. Okay, she's very intelligent. She's a genius. She's highly technical, but she actually literally had to go in and learn the system and how it worked. She goes through
taught
that.
It to her, if you don't mind me asking.
Excuse me?
How did she learn it? Like, who taught her?
According to her, she's self-taught.
She's self-taught.
Basically, she worked with the system. I've never worked with the system, but I believe it assists you on some level. There's a lot of AI within the system, as I understand it, and therefore it can do a tremendous amount of different things. And like I said, I can explain some basics. Here's something I'd like to explain real quick. Is basically like the elite of the world who've controlled the Federal Reserve have tried over and over and over to launch a new currency, and they've attempted to do that on cryptocurrency, basically blockchain technology or something similar. The problem with that is that the highest level of blockchain only transfers 300 million is only capable of processing 300 million transactions per second. The world currently requires 800 million. The quantum system can process tens of trillions of transactions per second.
Wow.
So this is really what I just said, that is one of the reasons why everyone is beyond their patience level as to why is there not a change? Why hasn't Jassara and Asara been released? Why have the people not been restored? That is basically the reason, is because the elite still have enough power to not let the funds come into the financial system. And if you know, like I do, like 98% of the banks in the world are all Rothschild control. And of course, that links to the Vatican, that links to a lot of different secret societies. And all of those individuals are involved in that control system. Therefore, there's a lot of power that they have in not allowing it to come forth. Now, Kimberly has recently said she's made some tremendous breakthroughs and that she believes that funding will be coming very soon. When that will be is hard to say, because as soon as she creates a system that allows the flow of funds from the trust into the hands of the people, the cabal, they come in and they do all kinds of trickery. And that's something that literally was just done about 2-3 weeks ago. Kimberly had planned on dropping $3,330 into every single person on the planet's bank account. So even if you were in Nigeria, you would have just received like Nigerian dollars or whatever the currency is.
Would the number have been the same, 3333, regardless of currency?
Well, it would have just been converted to whatever currency in whatever country you're in. Now there is, and I mean, people can check that out. It's kimsrelieffund.com. That is actually the name of the website that is supposed to be on those transfers when they go through. So if you were to look at your bank today and you saw 3330, you wouldn't see a bank account number that it came from. You would see that web address.
How is it possible that only one human, and she is human, right?
She's fully human, yes. I know personal friends who've met her directly, yes.
Because she does look very, when you see her on video, she has a very, what is that word where you look
like transparent?
No, like computer imagery. But my question is, how is it possible that only one human has this much power?
This goes back to when we were talking about covenants. Well, there's actually a document that exists. It's on a kangaroo skin, and it is actually the original. It's the original treaty between the tribes of the planet and the Draconian race. It's approximately 14,600 years old. It is in the possession of Kimberly or people that she knows. This particular document, when you translate it, shows that this planet was basically it was given over to the Draconian race over 14,000 years ago. And with that particular transaction, they've been able to enslave this planet up until now. The end of that contract ended in 2012. So you might ask, why is it that we're still now here? We are, 9 years later, and we still haven't seen the movement, or we haven't seen the full. Let's see what basically was intended to happen, which is to restore humanity. The reason is because the Draconians and a lot of the other individuals, humans that have been working with these control structures, they're still playing the same game. They don't know any different. And the reason that is because they've all been compartmentalized. So they believe you may be working for the CIA and believe you're a good guy, but in actuality, you're actually working on 1/10 of something that's very evil in that whole structure. And that's one of the main things I like to talk about, because everyone has been compartmentalized. All of your listeners have been compartmentalized. And that's what they're actually doing with the internet. That's actually what they're doing with the financial system. For instance, I've always known, because of who I am, I've always had a problem with my credit. I've always had a problem accessing money after I left the financial institutions and one that I worked for. And I was targeted. And it turns out—
Because they were blocking it?
Yeah, and it turns out, well, it exists on all levels of society, even for you guys. I mean, you guys have your own, it's just like an ATM limit, right? You go to the ATM, you can take out 400, 600, whatever it is a day. Well, different individuals, depending on who they are and where they come from, like me, my family, they're trying to bat us down a little bit. So what are they going to do? They're going to close off a lot of those options, but financially. And this has actually just been described by Kim recently, where she said in the back of the system, she found these controls where literally they're scaling down everybody based on who you are and where you are in society. And it's not only that, but it's also the internet that you get. Most people don't understand that. Like, let's say you were a Democrat during this election.
Mm-hmm.
You would only see certain things. They would keep you in that compartment so that you would build your energy towards Biden, let's say. But if you were a Trump supporter, you would only see, MAGA, Q, all that stuff, right? Which is what I mostly saw.
Mm-hmm.
So
exactly.
these controls are something I like to talk about because most people don't get it. But when you understand it, the money that was used to build everything was built by the mob. Okay, it's all mob. Everything that we're operating in, every piece of technology, the computer that's in front of me, the insurance company that insured my car, the gas station that I filled up my tank in, they were all built to harvest from humanity. And people, that is a pretty deep thing to say, but when you look at it, you start to realize there's layers and layers and layers of control. Now, these layers now are being removed. Kim from the top. Kim has the highest security level on the planet, level 74. So she's removing the top players. It's up to us down here on the ground and the people that are listening to the show to connect to what I'm saying. And that is that if we humans want to help restoring the planet, we need to meet Kim in the middle. We need to rise from below as she's coming from the top down and removing the structures. When we meet in the middle, that is where we want to be, because that's where the money will flow.
How do we meet her in the middle? What do we do?
Well, that's where, you can look at GeForce.network. That's Kim's channel that basically she's handing to the people to basically do what you can. We're here to restore humanity. There's a million ways to restore humanity. So this is what's beautiful about what she's providing for us, because unlike the cabal structure we live in, there's not a lot of rules.
Mm-hmm.
If you're into dogs and you want to help animals, you can go do that. That's a humanitarian cause. If you're like, let's say, an evil politician, in theory, you're not going to have the salary that you had in the past. You're probably actually going to be out of a job. So there's a lot of change that's coming, and I'm trying to tell people about it.
How is she actually doing the changes? What is she doing? And how far along is she?
Okay, well, first of all, I'd like to say she's not a savior. She does not see herself as a savior. She's not like a woman who wants to be the queen of anything. She took on this position because like I said, she had the DNA match. She has a DNA key, that her DNA is the key that unlocks the quantum system so that she can operate it. So that's the kind of technology you're dealing with. You're not dealing with a physical realm, in essence. You're dealing with the spiritual realm. And her energy and her frequency allows her access. So with that, she's taking over control of a system that was originally, it was balanced. When it was created and it was part of this planet, it was a balanced system. When the Draco came in, they created a pentagram over the computer operating system of the quantum. That is a control system made to harvest from all of humanity. Kimberly now has removed that and has now put a figure 8, an infinity sign for women, right? It signifies a lot. It signifies the divine feminine that's coming in. It signifies that now we're going to balance out humanity, that the 1% don't just get everything. And that's literally what's been done now to the quantum system. So in the background right now, there's a lot of things happening that most people can't see. But there are positive things happening because the quantum system is active, and it has actually replaced the Federal Reserve as of about 3 weeks ago.
Can I share one thing real quick? Because you said that about the 333. Not long ago, maybe it was a few weeks ago, I was meditating.
Right.
And something came up and I wanted to know what 33, because I see 333 all the time. And I got a very crystal clear message that 333 is the divine feminine and 555 is the divine male energy. So as soon as you said the 333, that is very interesting.
And the 333 equals the 9, which is the divine feminine also.
Well, there you go.
So
That
you know,
confirms that then.
I work with a lot of women, April, so I'm very familiar and I'm very balanced in my masculine and feminine energy and able to connect on a lot of levels, which is very helpful. This is what I actually do a lot of coaching with men who are, let's say, a little too chauvinistic or whatever it is. You know, we need to come into balance because the way we were taught is wrong as men, you know, and women. But for men, yeah, this old patriarchal system of authority over women is gone. And men need to get with it, and they need to wake up to the fact that that's like, for instance, that's what Kim is facing right now. Okay, all of the elite, the old elite, and the bankers and the people who control the Fed, they're all men.
Exactly.
They never believed that a woman would be in control. So you know what Kim did? She named the system after herself. It's called KIMS, Key Integrated Monetary System. So I personally have spoken to people who have that screen in front of them. That's another reason why I know she's real.
That's another
Because
reason.
people at the highest level of monetary transactions that I know from my experience are looking at a screen that says Kim on it. They're not looking at the old Federal Reserve screens, the SWIFT, and all of these others that were existing previously. So the system has basically been the Fed is still up. That's why we haven't seen a worldwide economic collapse. But it's being cradled by the quantum system. So the quantum system is allowing it to operate. But within that, Kim has a lot of controls. So for instance, she shut down all the Illuminati siphoning, all the back doors to all different kinds of accounts. I can tell you that recently, the trickery that they've tried is unbelievable. The elite were actually planning to siphon everyone's bank account to zero.
Whoa.
This is what Kimberly was saying, right?
She said, yeah. And again, everything I'm saying, you can go back, take a look at gforce.net. You can find the links. This is what she said.
Is this and people will check it out, I'm sure. So a couple of things I want to just kind of dial in from you. So with
major.
You come from a prominent family. Number one, your family, that when you're out here publicly like this, are you getting any backlash from them at all? As far as like, what are you talking about? Why are you doing this? Have you gotten any pushback?
We'd like to share a story. While it may sound fictional, it's very real and happening right now in front of our very eyes. It's called the Great Awakening. Our sisters and brothers that come on Spiritually Raw are doing everything to help expand global consciousness, and in many cases putting everything on the line to share their messages about what's happening around the world for the greater good of humanity, while exposing the truth of the deep state and the dark forces behind it all. We are living in the most unbelievable times. Some may even say biblical, scary for many and yet exhilarating for others. Together we are taking part in getting everyone acclimated to the Great Awakening process and the exciting new discoveries that lie ahead. The sad part is many of our amazing guests are being heavily censored, socially shamed, and outright banned on many platforms for exposing the truth and piercing the veil. By becoming a viewer, you bring your powerful energy towards this global movement of other truth seekers. If you're resonating with our show, please let us know by hitting the like button, sharing, subscribing, turn on the notification, and leave some comments. Together, we will turn the universal key to global harmony and create a unified world. And remember, tune in often, tell all your friends, and most importantly, may all your dreams come true. Thanks, and God bless Patriots worldwide.